Yeah.
How you doing?
Hey, Kate, why don't you lead us in a song before we start, and then I'll do an interpretive dance.
Let's maybe
Just
switch that. Let's maybe switch. I'll dance, you sing.
Oh, I know, but no, it would be way more entertaining if you say.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we're gonna get started. Sorry, I'm yelling. I don't know. I have no idea why I'm yelling. If you are taking notes tonight, you need to write down at the top of your notes. You are the seed. This isn't long, Eleece. You don't have to worry. She's like, great, great. I'm gonna be halfway through menopause before Tanya's on her fourth point. Don't you worry. You will not. That's a long ways away for you, at least 2 weeks. So you are the seed is the name of this. And Warren Buffett said this: some things just take time. Some things just take time. He said this in an analogy in one of his books. If you impregnate 9 women at the same time, well, not at the same time, but in the same month, it's not going to get you a baby any quicker because the baby takes 9 months. Some things just take time to grow. And that's the mentality that you have to have. I think why it's difficult for me in this kind of a business is that I came into this with no business experience. So with that, I had expectations as to what I wanted to see happen and what I wanted people to do. And some will, in your business, rock and roll and do really, really well right out of the gate. Some will wait a couple months, some a couple years. I've had customers that have had a bad day at work and called me and said, hey, tell me more about what you do. I don't think I can work my job anymore. And so everybody is on a different process, and all of that is good. So consider yourself the seed. I know a lot of times we say go plant seeds, go do your 2 exposures and whatever. I want you to focus on yourself being the seed. Opening remark about Miriam: in our business with this company, the possibility is imminent. IMM, I had to look it up. IMMINENT. Kate's laughing. Shut up, Stevens. Okay, so then I looked it up. All right, and it said imminent means, so possibility is ... coming, forthcoming. Love this one. Near, on the way, on the horizon, just around the corner. Imminent means brewing. For some of you St. Patty Day people, I know you know brewing. That was a drinking joke if you didn't catch that. I also have my liquor license. When I was dating Brian, I would just randomly lick him in the face. I'd be like, oh my gosh, you were like so odd. And I'm like, what? I have my liquor license. Okay, I have no idea we were talking about brewing. Imminent also means looming. So looming isn't always a negative thing. Looming could just be it's at your back door. It also means coming down the pike. So I looked that up for you guys today. But in our business, with this vehicle, with Jeff Olson as the captain of this ship, possibility is imminent. I love that. And so you get to decide what that end goal is, what your idea of success is. For some of you, you're just like, I would like 3 brand partners for the love of God. And that's great. Then you need to go after, and you know what you need to do as far as recruiting outside of during our NMD runs. We did nothing outside of handing out product, doing sit downs, RRPs, and 3-way calls. And then we would attend our monthly regional. But that's honestly, that's all that we did. We didn't have to do anything extra special. Those activities will get you to that finish line, whatever that finish line is for you. So we live, write this down, I love this. So we live in a society or a world of harvest first before we plow. Hence the Warren Buffett analogy. We want to see the harvest before we plow. It's why we have microwaves and why our cars go ever loving fast. And why, fill in the blanks. We also live in a world where we buy it before we can afford it. Hence why a lot of people need Nerium, and why they're using their tax returns to get into a business that's going to get them ahead a year from now. Because if a year goes by and you're in the same situation you were last year, then and there's no planting of the seed, there's no opportunity for change, there's no possibility for success, then something's wrong. We're offering people that. We live in a very what would be the word? We're just not patient. We're not patient. These Zooms that you're on every Monday night, that's you putting your seed into good soil. This is good for your seed. This is good for your business. It's good for your mindset. It's good for your team. If your team doesn't see you on these Zooms, they won't get on the Zooms. Same goes for me. If I don't get product out, my team's not going to get their product out. If I'm not going to regionals, I'll be at the Atlanta regional here in the next 2 weeks. My team's not going to go to regionals. You got to do, if you want your team to do it, you've got to be the example and do that. So thanks for being on the Zoom. This is a good thing for your business, and it's a good thing for you. So we obviously none of this stuff is mandatory, but we appreciate you guys being on. We are all sowing on a daily basis. Here's your reminder. Your seed, you down in the dirt, your business, your journey, whatever it is, your seed is on schedule. Some of you have to just let that sink in, because I think, me included, I take myself out of the game mentally because I'm so impatient. And then I go from impatient to just flat out ticked off and want to blame the world and want to knock out everybody that doesn't return a text or a call or gives me my flipping bottle back, or, I have the same roadblock box and whatever as you guys have. But the reminder tonight is your seed is on schedule. The scariest place, I'm wrapping it up, Pink, so don't get weary in waiting. I'll save what I was just going to say for later. The challenge, because anything good. Okay, you guys watch March Madness. You guys see South Carolina, North Carolina play. They both played their guts out last night. I mean, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because we have friends whose son went to South Carolina. And plus they were the underdog, so I have to always root for the underdogs. Go Rudy. But yeah, he's Notre Dame. It's a totally different sport. But anyway, I love the underdog story. But you look at both teams, they all worked so hard. They both kicked butt. They had amazing seasons. They worked hard, whatever. And one team has to walk away as the loser and completely devastated. Synchronize your faith and belief with the schedule of your seed. And this is a David Bird thing, put expectations, reasonable expectations on yourself. If you work a full-time job like Melanie Parker, you work a full-time job like Carissa, put realistic expectations on what your seed, what your business is capable of in the amount of time that you give it, if that makes sense. Synchronize your faith and belief with the schedule of the seed. Write this down. Most dreams die in the soil. They never even get a chance to sprout. And I love that. We're all human beings. The human heart, the human emotions, mind, all of it. We're all, even though we're all very, very different, we're all really, really alike. And most of us in the waiting, in the constant state of expectation, and that's where dreams die. My challenge to you guys is to have faith in this process, have faith in you, believe in you, because you have a say over your business. Nobody else does. The person that refuses to give you a bottle back has no say in where you go in your business. I had an aunt that contacted all of my relatives when I started this and told them not to take the product I was going to offer them because it would give them cancer. Needless to say, she was no longer my favorite aunt. But we all have opposition. You do. It's a part of life. Opposition in this type of business, like I just found out of one of my brand partners, one of the very first people she prospected, I don't know if it's a sister or a sister-in-law, just signed with another company. And it's devastating. And to ignore that and to say that it's not is a bunch of, manure. Couldn't think of another word. Call a spade a spade. It is what it is. But don't let your seed die in the soil. Don't let your dream and your belief die in the soil because you're sitting waiting. Your life is a seed. Your purpose is a seed. And also just be patient with yourself. But in the waiting, in the anticipation, and in that just that season of potential, don't allow your goals, which is why the vision boards and your why is all so stinking important because it reminds you daily. Don't grow weary in all of that. Just know, have you guys ever seen that visual that they have on Facebook where the guy is underground and he's chipping away at the rock and he's looking for the diamonds, and it shows that he gives up when he's just centimeters away from the breakthrough? Don't give in to the fact that maybe the seed's not on the schedule that you would want it to be, because trust me, I'd have been 5-star in my first 2.5 years. And the rate we were growing and we were going, I mean, it was gangbusters. Yeah, 5-star, of course. I'm not gonna stop at 5-star. I mean, that was my mentality. Well, it didn't. I got to 2-star, and then I stayed at 2-star, and then I stayed at 2-star. It didn't go the way that I wanted to go. But does that mean I just take the seed and I just chuck it into our bonfire in our backyard? No. This was my, I hate the word because I think it's cheesy, but for lack of another word, destiny. This is what was placed in my lap, and this is my assignment. This is my assignment right now. And it may not be when I'm 70. I'll still be collecting, checks, residual checks from Miriam. Thank you, Jesus. But right now, this is my assignment. And what I can do, because I'm not at 3-star, and you've got to qualify, I think, by the end of the month to go to the Hawaii trip. You guys know it's been a couple of years I've been trying to get on the dumb trip. I don't think it's happening this year, but guess what? I'm not going to grow weary in the waiting. I'm not going to let that seed die. And I'm not going to let the lies, the thoughts, the negative thoughts that you think on a daily basis are repetitive. You listen to the same negative thoughts day after day after day. Most attacks, as far as mentally and whatever, they're never really creative. We all struggle with pretty much the same stuff. All that to say, take control of your days. I don't know if any of you guys saw the post. I don't even know exactly what it said, but a few days ago I said, did you really have a bad day, or did you have a bad 5 minutes that you milked all day long? I'm totally guilty of that. Totally. No, it wasn't a bad day, but that one bad thing, I rocked that thing all day long. And who won on that? Nobody wins. So I'm a work in progress too, but have faith in the process. Believe in yourself. We are going to get where we want to get. As far as announcements, everybody needs to be on the corporate update call tomorrow, because they will be doing some announcements about the new products that are coming out. And I haven't had a chance to listen to Miriam yet tonight, so they may have said them tonight. So if you know them, great. But get on that corporate update call or watch Miriam University. Also, some different updates with NLC. Okay. So I'm not going to go into all of that. I am going to pass it over to Stevens, and then Steven, stop cracking your knuckles. You're going to have large knuckles as an old woman. When we're in a retirement home together, I'm going to have to massage your joints, for God's sake. Would you stop it?
I think Miriam will have some cellular something. I'm never going to look any older. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not as motivational as Tanya because I kind of like when people are mean to me to get me motivated. So if you guys are not in that camp, you can mute me right now. I will introduce Eleece and let her rock it out because she's awesome. I'm excited. One quote that I heard yesterday when I was working out was, I like the instructor because she's a little sassy, but she said, listen, everyone's warmed up. You have two choices right now. You either sit on the bench or you start playing. And I was like, yes. Like, we've been trained 8 ways from Sunday. Even if you're brand new, you have everything you need because you have a system and you have us to support you. Are you going to sit on the bench and watch the game, or are you going to play? And I was like, yeah, I'm playing. Let's go. So for me, sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need a little sass to get me moving. So you pick what you want. I'm extra sassy this year, I feel like. So sorry in advance for that. But hey, no filter means you'll get the honest truth always. So I am going to pass it over to Eleece Pink. You guys, she used to be on my cheer squad. So if you see some cheerleader escaping us every now and again, we do have the cheer faces on our Facebook pictures. But she was on my cheer squad, I think, starting in 7th grade, maybe. So I've known her forever. And she will tell you a little bit more about kind of how she got started. When people share their stories on here, listen very carefully to how they got started in the business, because it is a clue as to how you should approach people, because we all use the system. So listen to those little bits and pieces. But I love the fact that, number one, Eleece and I hadn't spoken in years, to today we talk 75 times a day. I don't know, give or take. I don't really know. But that's what this business is. It's about having a community of people that you reach out to. And the reason she and I are this close is she reached out to me over and over and over and over and over again. So that is how this happened. Sorry, distraction, more EHT. That is how this happened. And I'm not muted. And there's a camera right here. So, okay. Just keeping it real with my family. But Eleece is going to share with you some of the things she's the best at. She is a phenomenal leader. If you don't know her yet, get to know her. She's amazing. I just love this part of the Zooms when other people get to share, because I know you all are doing whatever you can to stay awake for Tanya and I, and that's okay. We still love you. So I'm going to pass it to Eleece and let her take it away. So get your little notes and your pen ready, excuse me, and I'll let her go.
Oh, but Eleece, before you start, I do want to just say that very few people have in the organization. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have started this Nerium journey and have teams and organizations. Very few have developed into the leader that you have. And to watch you in that transformation, that's part of what I love, what we do, is being able to watch you guys blossom, flourish. A goal of a leader, and this is what Eleece is doing with her team, this is what Kate's doing with her team, the goal of the leader is to work yourself out of a job. So if you're there or you're not there, nothing changes. And Eleece is that leader. She has obviously learned from the best, which is Kate, but she's duplicating that. She's doing that in her organization. So I just wanted you guys to know, huge shout out to Eleece Pink. She really is the best. Take notes. Thanks, Eleece. You rock, sister.
Oh, you're so nice. No, that's awesome. Thank you, Tanya. And thanks, Kate, too, for introducing me. I know most of you guys know me. I live up in Minnesota, and I will my story. She was starting. It was that person that had a bad day at work, and I reached out to Kate. She had messaged me on Facebook and just said, hey, I just started doing something new. I totally don't know if you're interested, but just let me know and I can get you some info. I was that girl that was like, oh, you're doing one of those things. That was literally my mentality. I've never done anything like this before. If people invited me to their home parties, I would avoid them and I would never go because I felt pressured and weird. But like Tanya said, I was working 60 plus hours a week, driving 1 hour to work, 1 hour from work. And I was doing HR marketing up in the cities here, but I literally just had that one bad day, came home, I had a glass of wine, and I'm like, I'm going to message Kate. She's not going to lead me in the wrong direction. Like Kate said, I was on her cheer squad. Our families were friends. And I just thought, what's the worst that can happen? So really, if people aren't responding to you right now, don't get too worked up, because like I said, I didn't even say no thank you to Kate for 4 months. I just ignored her. So you're not alone, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be a bad asset to your team once they do get started. So just keep your Facebook posts positive and whatnot. I try to really focus on that. I live in a town of 325 people in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota. We moved up here 4 years ago. So if people think that they don't know anyone and they don't have anyone around them, yes, I am in the same exact boat. But I've made this work, and I do a lot of my stuff on social media. And I really just try to reflect that positive life of whatever it happens to be that day, and whatnot on my Facebook page and on my posts, and just to everyone. And that has helped a ton for me. But what I'm going to talk about today is follow-ups. That is, I can promise every single one of you, if your business is not where you want it to be, that is probably one of your biggest downfalls. And I am speaking from experience. So I have been there. I have been that person that, yes, they get my bottles out and I get them back, and I message people and people get back to me, and it just ends there, and I forget who I talked to, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm not an organized, or I wasn't an organized person. So I had so many people fall through the cracks, and I really learned from my mistakes in that. So, and I know you've all heard this time and time again, but the fortune is really in the follow-up. It's the biggest part of your business. I can promise you, if you stay in contact with people and not necessarily drilling Nerium all the time, big things will come. That is, for me, what I've noticed on my trek to not following up with people to following up with people. I started at the Nerium every single message, every time I'd follow up with them, and that doesn't necessarily always work because they feel like they're being sold to. And as most of you guys know, when you got started in the business, that's not what we're here for. We're not supposed to be salespeople. That's not fun to anyone. I guess I'm speaking for myself, but I don't think that's fun to anyone. And this is supposed to be a fun business. So drilling Nerium 24/7 when I did start doing my follow-ups didn't really work well either. Biggest thing is we really, really have to connect with people. I now count my follow-ups as I've checked in a couple times with Nerium. They say they're not responding. I know this happens to every single one of you, even customers that are like, yeah, I'm going to order tomorrow or whatever. You're following up, and they still aren't ordering. Check in with them and just be like, hey, I look on their Facebook and see what they've done this past week, and just say, hey, I saw you guys went to the zoo or whatever, like, looked like so much fun. That's all you need to say. That in my opinion, that is a really good follow-up. You're connecting with them and you're putting yourself in their brain, and that's going to click to the Nerium side of things, and you don't even have to say anything, and you're not sounding salesy or pushy or anything like that. So really just connect with people in your follow-ups. Don't just drill Nerium over and over. Biggest thing is, and again, I'm speaking from experience, but following up within 24 to 48 hours. We've all heard this, we all know this, but we don't all do it. And again, speaking for myself, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but we don't all do it. But we really have to. We have to keep it fresh in everyone's mind. Like I said, just say hi. It doesn't need to be order. Are you ready to order? That type of thing. But literally just keep it fresh in their mind every 24 to 48 hours. Just be checking in with them. Even if it's like commenting on something on their Facebook page or something like that. If you guys can kind of gauge in your business and where you are with that person, if they need to be talked to every 24 hours. If you kind of talk to someone over and over and over and it's been drawn out for 4 months, you don't need to talk to them every 24 to 48 hours. But if they're new, you do, because that's what's going to get you from start to finish with them. Because we know it takes 6 to 10 exposures for anything to happen, for them to say yes, say no, become a customer, become a brand partner. So we just have to get them those follow-ups and those exposures in while we're doing our follow-ups for something to happen, because we can't just expect for them to have a bottle and try it and fall in love with it and order it right off the spot or join your team or whatever. Yes, that happens. But it's more of a rarity than than the opposite. So really make sure you're checking in with everyone. And I know Jess had done that Zoom last week about how she was doing her NMD run and getting a notebook and really writing down everyone's name and where you've left off with them. And same with Todd, he does his Fort Knox in the box. Same type of thing. You need to find a system that really works for you, to know exactly where you are with each person and where you've left off, where you need to continue going. Because when you're talking to 10, 15 people in a matter of a week or two or whatnot, you are going to forget and things are going to fall through the cracks. That's just how your mind is, and you have life going on and other things are happening. So you have to write things down and find a system that works for you, to really do your follow-ups and get the activity that you need to get your NPC or BP or whatever it is. I'm kind of reading my notes here too, guys, and I totally went off track, but that's okay. I have written down here too, don't use a script. We have tons of scripts, and scripts are awesome, especially for when you're reaching back out to people. I mean, scripts are great, but biggest thing is be personable to people. Don't necessarily just use a script over and over and over. I love using for when people they haven't necessarily ordered yet, and I'm checking back in. Hey, I'm putting an order in tonight. You want me to add yours in? I know you've had interest before, that type of thing. We can't keep saying that over and over and over and over and over again. To an extent, yes, but you really have to be personable, and maybe ask them, hey, what's holding you back, and really get to know what their needs are and what you can help with, because maybe it's a money issue and they're not thinking of, oh, I could sell things because they're busy. They have a baby, they have a family, they have stuff going on. But you can give those suggestions to them. So just be open and really try to figure out, be a problem solver of what they need to get to that end goal. What else was I going to say? Oh, on here I have, if you become uncomfortable. So a lot of times, speaking from experience again, I get my head in the way of following up with people, and I get uncomfortable. I feel like I am bombarding them, and I don't want to be like that. So I have learned kind of a trick that's really helped myself, is that in order to avoid that, I will always tell the person when I'm going to follow up with them next, and say, hey, I'll check in with you in a few days. If it's one of those people you've been checking in with for a long time, like, hey, I'll check in with you next Thursday, whatever it happens to be. Give them a time or a day when you're going to check in with them. So when you do go to do your follow-up, you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be bothering them again. Horrible mindset, because that's not going to get you anywhere. So if that is your kind of fallback and you feel uncomfortable following up with people, that's an awesome way to kind of get started and get yourself out of the way, because there, in doing that, you're already going to set them up for that expectation of hearing from you. So that for me has worked really, really well. And I kind of got myself out of the way in doing that, from feeling uncomfortable when I'm following up with people and feeling like I'm bothering them. And I now have the mentality of they need this. They've told me they want something like this. And that's really why we're following up with people. We're not going to follow up with people that say, hey, no, I have no interest. We're obviously not following up with those people. I'll always ask those people, if you have anyone that came to mind when you saw any of this info, send them my way. I'd love to just chat with them. But if people say no, move on. That's really the biggest thing. We're following up with the people that have interest and they want the information and they want product, or they want to become a VP in the company. So it's our job to follow up with them and keep them in touch with us and with whoever else we need to. And that kind of leads me into my next thing, three-way calls. Again, we all know we need to do three-way calls. I would not be where I am. I would not have a single person on my team if I did not do a three-way call. Every single person that has joined my team has been on a three-way call of some sort, a three-way call, a Zoom, something. That's not my job to do that. Yes, I know everything, and I know that I know everything, and I can give them the exact same information That's not the point. They need someone else to, they need another voice to hear, to know, number one, that they have support when they join the company. Number two, it just gives you validity of what exactly you're talking about, even if it's just a customer. It gives you validity to what exactly the product and everything is. And number three, it's duplicatable. When people do join your team, I literally, every single person that's joined my team, I just tell them, you know how I got you on the phone with Kate or Tanya or whoever it was when you got started? That's all you're going to do. Then you don't have to go through the process of, okay, this is how you do a three-way call. And then they think, oh my gosh, that seems really strange and uncomfortable. They've been on one, so they don't know anything different. And they think, oh my gosh, yeah, that was super helpful. That I heard another voice, that I now know who that person is when they're reaching out and trying to help me as well in my business. That's the biggest thing for me, is really getting people on these three-way calls when we're following up with people. Even if it's for products or whatnot, I always just throw in when I'm doing my three-way calls with process. And a lot of times, you guys, people come back because they fall in love with the products, or whatever it happens to be, or they know their niece or their friend or something is looking for something like this. So we just have to get anyone and everyone possible on any three-way calls with myself, Kate, Tanya, Carissa, Marcy, and anyone else in our upline, Jess, Noel, because that is the key to building your business. I can tell you, if you're not doing three-way calls, sorry to be harsh, but you're not going to get anywhere. I can guarantee you 1,000% that. So get yourself out of the way. Whatever it is, your mindset, if you think you got it and you don't want to bother anyone, please don't bother all of us, because that's what we're here for. And that's how you're going to get places in the business and help grow your team and your customer base. So that's really the biggest thing from me and learning from this business, is following up with people and converting any follow-ups I possibly can into three-way calls, because that really is like the jackpot right there if you can do that. Let's see, I have a couple of the really good things written down that I was going through my notes and looking at. Something that I think Anna Camp said this at one of the regionals up in Minnesota here. She said, right before the magic happens, that's when doubt will come. So if you feel like you're in a hard place, you don't know what to do next, something big's coming really, really soon, you just need to take action. You can't sit back and think and let that take over you, because that really is the kind of precursor to something awesome happening. And just kind of keep that in mind when you have that feeling of doubt or have that feeling of negativity, that something awesome's coming, because you have that. And just whatever the universe is doing, it's trying to pull you down. That's how it works. So just know that something awesome is coming. So push through that and big things will happen. Follow the system. People fail. The system does not fail. That was another on a camp thing that she said at our regional, that I'm like, yeah, I think that's true. And that's kind of where I did my turnaround of, okay, things aren't where I want them to be. I need to change something, because Miriam has everything we need. They have all the tools that we need. The products obviously work, and we know they work, and we have to just share them with everyone possible. But we have to follow the system and be consistent with it, because that is the biggest thing, is that we're the ones that fail. It's not the company. We can't blame Miriam. We can't blame the products. It's not that. It's us, and our enthusiasm and our confidence. So I always try to think, when I'm talking to people, I'm not always like, yeah, I'm ready to go talk to whoever and do whatever. Like, I get nervous when I talk to people. And I always, before I go talk to anyone, or I call anyone, or I do any sort of, like, if I have a bunch of follow-ups to do at night, I always just kind of try to get myself in the mindset of, I have 1,000 people on my team. My team's really awesome. And I know exactly what I'm doing. I can get anyone I need on the phone for backup, that type of thing, but have the mentality of you having 1,000 people on your team, and get that confidence, and big things will happen. When you have that mindset, people will oddly be attracted to you and excited and about what you have. So really just, you have to push that fear and that doubt out of the way and be confident and be excited about what we have, truly, because that is the key to anything. So with that, I won't take up much more of anyone's time, but so that's the biggest thing, you guys, is just follow-ups, three-ways. Follow-ups, three-ways, and just really be excited and feel like you know where you're going, because you will get there if you have that mentality. So I will pass it back to whoever's taking it away. I'm guessing Tanya.
Sure. Oh, no, we actually had someone fast start qualify since we've been on the Zoom, which is so cool. Kate, you want to share?
Yeah, I will. So
Are you on, Hazel?
Can you hear me?
Maybe not.
Can you hear me? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, our Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If you, Suzanne, wave your hand. Can they see you? I'm trying to move.
Yeah, they can. Now they can see.
Okay. So Suzanne and Megan, I don't know where she is, but Suzanne brought Megan into the business less than 30 days ago. And Megan just FSQ'd tonight while she was on the Zoom, and she's got 3 littles under 4 years old. No excuses. So I don't know where she is on here, but you guys. So everybody give her your little golf claps. Woo! Come on, you can do it. I'm looking for her. Yay! All right, anything else you want to end with, Tanya?
No, but I think if you have the mentality, like Eleece was just wrapping up, if you have the mentality of what I said about your success being imminent, that it's coming, it's right around the corner, and what Anna Camp said was that's your moment to turn everything around and take it to the next level. You're closer to your breakthrough than you know. And go for it. We have an amazing team. We have amazing support. The only thing that's going to stop you is how much you decide to put into this or how much you decide to not put into this. So your future's in your hands. Go for it. I'm excited about where this company is going, the team that we've become and the team that we're becoming. I'm also excited about that. Some of you are really going to be on the journey of your life in the next 365. I love seeing the memories that pop up, on Facebook where it'll say a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever. And a couple years ago, my post on Sunday, it was, I will, just watch me. I mean, talk about determination, laser focused, and really have not juniors sad, tired, or something. Just stay laser focused and keep your eyes on the prize because your success is imminent. I love you guys. You're all amazing. Plug in, stay close to the fire. I so appreciate seeing you guys at games. You're outside watching your kids doing your things. Hey, they're the reason why we're doing this business, right? For most of us. Not everybody on this Zoom has kids, but for those of us, it's a beautiful thing that you guys are out there supporting your kids, yet still working on your business with your cheeks in those bleachers. God bless our buns. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the night and have a great, great week. Bye.